Hi, this is Wes Craven, and
Peter Locke.
we're here to welcome you to the commentary on The Hills of Eyes, lo these many years later. So this was shot, Peter, about 15 minutes outside of Victorville, right?
Right, in Apple Valley.
In Apple Valley, yeah. And we were, at this time, two guys from New York that knew nothing about the desert, so we just came out here on a total shot in the dark. Peter, your second wife was out here working at Vegas and places like that, so you said, why don't we shoot something in the desert? Right?
Right, it was something like that. But you had also figured out how to make a picture with the fewest amount of people in one location, because I think I had come to you and said, here's the amount of money I can get. And
It was 10 cents or 15 cents?
I think it was about 15 cents. And I think you brought in, among other things, the Scottish marauding family who lived in a cave that was on high tide. You couldn't get into the cave.
Right, yeah, the Shawnee Bean family, which is quite a famous story from the 16th century. So out we went. I remember on a location scout, somebody told us literally, don't get off the main road, and of course that's what we did immediately. We almost broiled ourselves because we were way out in the middle of nowhere, I remember, and shut the car off and got out and were astonished by how hot it was because we had the air conditioning going.
Do you remember that guy who took us to Boron who said, don't drink water?
Yeah, that's right.
He said, don't drink water, and we're in the middle of the desert.
He took us around for an entire day, a local guide, and he never drank a drop of water.
And he had no air conditioning in the car. We had the windows open.
Yeah, he just had this giant hump on his back. So this is John Stedman, and this was an actual gas station just outside Victorville, as I recall. That was abandoned. We brought the pump in, but everything else was there.
They'd leave me belly up out here if they knew I was getting ready to run. Don't you make a noise when you walk.
Janice Blythe, and I think when we cast her, didn't she win the role finally by being the fastest across the parking lot?
Yeah, it's on Sunset Plaza Drive. In the parking lot back there, we had sprints.
Wind sprints for the girls, and if you can't run fast, you don't have the role. So she was very fast.
You folks have to go rob a goddamn Air Force PX for God's sakes.
We're hungry. No one comes through back there anymore.
The Shawnee Bean family story is interesting because it was an area of Scotland that thought to be haunted, and a couple were going from Edinburgh, I think, back to London, and got pulled off the wife got pulled off the horses by this wild-looking group, and the husband went back and reported to the King's Court, and they sent an expedition out and found this wild family that was living in a cave and eating people. They were cannibals. So the idea of not getting off the main road sort of fit this scenario very well.
Do you think you could pass out there with a regular phone?
And John was an old regular in Westerns, right?
He was a cowboy actor.
Many, many Westerns.
I can't remember how he lost his finger, but he told us the story.
Well, that doesn't help us very much, does it?
No, that was kind of a question to you. Do you remember?
No.
I knew you was getting out. He'd rip your lungs out.
Hello? Anybody around? Get in there. That'll be the state troopers. They'll toss you in jail and throw the key up a wild sow's ass and holler suey.
That was his line, too, I remember.
Fill it up and check the oil and water.
Give you what I got. Ain't got much. I'm just closing down.
We were all, I think, fascinated. I certainly was by just the openness of the spaces. We were all from New York and I'd never been out in the desert at all. And just to drive out there and you just can see for so far. And that phrase, in the middle of nowhere, I think just sprang to our minds.
Wes ran up these mountains and these rocks like a mountain goat, and he kept going and going and going, and we trudged after him. And he'd get to a place after we'd climb and climb and climb and say, nope, this isn't it. And we'd do it all over again.
This is before I learned that most directors choose places that just have a road right behind where you don't see, where you can pull all your equipment up.
I think some of those really big, dramatic shots are a result of your fortitude. You just kept going for it.
How are my two baby girls doing?
Fabulous.
So that was Martin Spear, and
Bobby
Houston, and the pig is unnamed.
What was that pig's name?
Now here's the rare appearance of the producer of the film, Peter.
I think I walked through a camera setup or a shot around here somewhere also.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, we were all very cross at you.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's why I was asking. You see, it's my Aunt Mildred's gift to Bob and me on our silver anniversary, and that's tomorrow.
Lady, there ain't no silver left back in there. Besides, the Air Force uses part of this as a gunnery range. You folks just forget that foolishness and go into California. That'll be $6.80.
Okay.
$6.80. 2 gallons.
Got no change.
Now that figures.
Detective, huh?
That's right.
Bob just retired from the police force. He had to a little early because of his harm.
They furnished Dry Creek Road. You know where?
Now, this couple actually is based on 2 people that were part of my mother's circle of friends, Bob and Ethel Balmer, and he was the head of security police at Case Western Reserve in Ohio. And many of the lines of this character come directly from this man. My remembrance of things that he said around the dinner table when I was a little kid.
What's the matter? See something?
She was my favorite actress. I shouldn't say that on a DVD, but she played that part so great.
Yes, Virginia.
Yeah, she was just worried about the wrong thing all the time, trying to keep everything calm, the place tidy.
Yeah.
Everything has to be ship-shape.
It was kind of based on my mother, who was very much like that.
Good dogs.
Good dogs, and I think you're about to make your appearance, if I'm not mistaken.
Come on. He must have some animals back there.
Shh, shh. There's nothing, dummy. Come on.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Come on.
I think, what was the origin of that character? I don't think it was in the script. It was like suddenly we need somebody to be there, and we didn't have any actors. So.
And you raised my hand, I think, and said, "Oh,
go put some feathers on."
Go put some feathers on. It came down something like that. And I think I came out of wardrobe and walked in front of the shot that you were doing something else. And I basically said, "Here I am," and screwed up your shot.
Stay on the main road now, you hear? Stay on the main road.
No music, very ominous in this.
Yeah, music by Don Peake. Did a very spare score. He was kind of into experimental music and 16-tonal scale things, and yeah, I think it really lends itself to this. And not, it's not the conventional sort of jumps and everything else, and it makes it feel so alien. I think just the music.
It's very stark, very remote. You feel like you're really out there.
Yeah, which basically we were.
Everything had one take. We didn't have a second truck. We didn't have a second explosion. This was it.
There'll be hell to pay now.
That's a pretty good first act. I think this area is now very built up with amphetamine labs, if I'm not mistaken. But remember, even then, you look at these vast things where there was nothing, then you see a little sparkle of silver up in the hills, and you realize it was a trailer.
Right.
And you just say, who the hell is living up there?
Lucerne Valley, remember we went through that? There were all the bottle trees, and people living behind their own forts with second-story lookouts.
Yeah,
paranoia.
Very strange. And bottle trees, people would hang out like wine bottles and stuff into the trees, and then they would get bleached by the sun over the years. That was their form of TV.
Here's someplace on this little blue road. Mother, this road is not a blue line. It's a dotted line if it's on the map at all.
This kind of shooting, like, it had spoiled me for the rest of my career because it was 16-millimeter handheld cameras, and you just get the cameraman sitting in the passenger seat, and it's so easy. And now when you shoot, it's like the grips work for 4 hours to prepare the car, and you have all this stuff on it, and you can't see your actors, and you're in an insert truck that's following them, and it's just totally different. So, Peter, why don't you tell, we grabbed these shots at an Air Force base, right?
Yeah.
I think, was it Nellis Air Force Base?
No, I think Edwards Air Force Base.
Edwards.
Nellis is in Nevada, and I think we were close to Ellis. We just went and got it.
Yeah.
Just
we were
like
just hoping
that.
they didn't come out and arrest us for taking spy pictures.
These were their big planes. Oh, my God.
I think you said just run over the rabbit, right? And I said, no, I can do it on a Zoom.
Oh.
And he just had everybody, okay, jumping around in the back seat.
I remember the shooting for this, though, that inside the car, although you're saying it was easy, I think we did that a couple hundred times.
Yeah.
And really, that was a good one, that run. We ran right into the night, as you can see.
Oh, that's true, yeah. See,
We
I don't remember these details.
The beginning of the day was nice and bright in the car. Then the sun was going down, and shadows are long now.
Yeah, I remember the factor that these tall hills surrounded the area where we shot. As soon as it would get afternoon, these shadows would start moving almost so quickly you could see them moving, and we'd be running down. We'd shoot the master in one place and then run like 500 yards to get the medium shots, and then go running another 1,000 yards to get the close-ups before the sun disappeared. Now here's our famous cardboard. We wanted a shadow of a hawk going over, so we cut it out of cardboard and put it on 2 strings, and then flew it over her head, right? Now this dialogue you couldn't have in a movie today, but this is almost verbatim from something that Bob Palmer said around a table once.
Bastards ever come as close to killing me as my own goddamn wife and her goddamn road maps and her wrong turns and her goddamn hysterical screaming and her...
Watch your language.
Watch your language.
And you watch your heart, too. You know what Dr. Springer said.
Well, Dr. Springer can take his stethoscope and shove it into his little black bag sideways.
There goes the shadow. I think that was the only good take we got on it.
I don't think we paid that bird, did we?
No, we did not pay that bird, but no cardboard birds were harmed during the shooting of this film. Now, Russ is no longer with us. Is that correct, Peter?
Correct. I don't know how many years ago.
Did he die of a heart attack?
I think so.
Wow.
Well, he was a heavy smoker, heavy drinker.
Right, which was part of being a man in those days.
Yeah.
Now, you can't see it in your homes, but Peter and I are both wearing dresses and we don't smoke.
Look at those long shots. I mean, when you're out there, it's that far.
Yeah.
It's endless.
Yeah. This is Michael Berryman's version of a girl. No comment. I must say, for a second film, it's the camera shots are pretty good. Probably credited to Eric Saarinen. You remember Eric and his whole crew? Most of the crew had just come off of, I think, Eat My Dust, had they not? The Ron Howard's first directing thing?
Yes.
For Roger Corman. They hated anybody connected with production because they had been run ragged by Roger. So they were constantly cross at us for the first half of the picture.
But he was a very cool guy.
Oh, Eric was great.
Yeah.
We walk, baby.
You know, Marlon Perkins said...
You pick up the camera and go and do what you wanted. You know, you just pick it up and go. It wasn't... There was no fear factor.
Yeah, no.
Not shoot until you see the whites of their fangs, son.
Or was it 8 feet and 20 minutes?
Oh, my. Thank goodness the boys at the precinct presented me with his howitzer.
Is this still the same day?
Probably. It looks like the same light.
If it's all the same to you, Bob Carter, I'll put my faith in...
And all those bushes are green. I think by the time we finished, everything was brown, right?
I don't remember that. How many days did we shoot? 25-ish?
I can't remember. I can't remember the schedule at all. I just remember they were asking me about how hot it was, and I said it was cold. It was cold. We hit rain.
Yeah, some days it was very, very cold. And at night, certainly, it was freezing.
Yeah.
When we did our location scout, I remember once getting out of the car and it was 120 degrees.
Yeah.
And just that's, for somebody from the Midwest and the East, that's not possible.
I think we scouted in August, September.
No, that was smart.
And then we shot in October, November, right?
Right. Now, this scene I think we just made up. It's not in the script, but
because we found
somebody found the spider.
Yeah, we found a tarantula on the highway. They were walking across the highway. We just put it in a little fish tank.
Right.
We had a little terrarium, and that was it.
Now they have crossing guards, so the tarantulas are protected from people like us. We didn't really squash the tarantula.
No, we kept the tarantula. Yeah. And we fed the tarantula.
Yeah, we fed them some of our
crickets.
minor actors.
Minor actors.
Why can't we raise anybody on the CB?
Here.
Well, it looks to me like these hills are full of iron, and if that's the case, you're not going to get a radio signal past them. Would you hold this, please? I'm going to head north. Something on the map that looks like a military installation here.
Okay, fine.
You ought to have a gun, too, Doug.
We only have 2 guns, and I think one of them ought to stay with you guys.
All right, Doug, you walk out 6 or 7 miles and get back. I'll walk out as far as...
Well, Dee Wallace, was she at the bar in 10?
Yeah.
I think that was her claim to fame.
That was it. And then she did the Spielberg picture. She did, was it E.T.?
Oh,
Okay.
yes, and Mother in the Holly, and she played many mother roles.
She played very nervous, and she made me nervous all the time.
Yeah, she had that kind of whiny nervousness. But it was perfect for the role.
Yeah. And Martin came in with a beard, and we made him shave the beard. And as soon as he shaved the beard, we said, "Oh,
We
we
were sorry."
shouldn't have shaved his beard." He was right.
Yeah. He kept telling us, "I'm telling you, I don't look good without a beard."
And we kept saying, "Oh, you look younger. It'll be better for the family."
Is that too much to ask? Bob?
I think Virginia was the most accomplished actress. She had a huge resume.
Yeah, yeah. She the most famous picture she was in was "I Want to Live," I believe, which was one of the classic pictures of the 40s. But yeah, she was enormously accomplished, and everything that she does is just so real feeling.
it's
I think she
perfect.
really is the core of the movie.
I think so, too. Look how tiny the trailer looks.
Yeah.
Good. Easy pickings now.
Now this, the dogs are Beauty and the Beast, so this was part of my, vast plan to have the sort of A and B side of life, the good and the evil, and the wild family and the white bread family, as Peter used to call them, and then flip them around so that by the end the white family is as vicious as possible, and you're kind of feeling sorry for the vicious family.
Come on, let's go.
You remember the name of the dog trainer? Was it Mo DeCiso?
Mo DeCiso, hey, that's exactly right.
I'm having Alzheimer's moments where
Wow.
flashes of memory.
We had a lot of dogs playing these dogs.
Eve of your 25th wedding anniversary.
Frozen French fries. A huge clump of human French fries was found.
This is why I don't have a career in comedy. It's,
Oh, actually, you had a career in comedy. Your problem was that you had too much success in terror movies.
Yes, many people, I would say the majority of people on the planet don't know that I wrote comedy for Peter's second wife for a year.
Oh, we used to do a nightclub act together, Wes and I, and go to see it all the time.
Lock and Load, it was called.
Showers. And gin and tonics.
The beach. Clothes.
Now, Bobby, as I remember, was a near championship skier, was he not?
I think so.
Yeah, because if
And
you
a
see
gymnast also.
him, yeah. So when you see him running like through the rocks in this movie, it's like he had amazing control of balance and footwork.
He's a Harvard graduate.
Was he? Are you
Yeah.
making that up? Oh, really?
No.
He was probably asking himself, "What am I doing here? Who are these people?"
I think 2 pictures later he said that about his career.
Yes,
think
but
it's
you know what he did
stuff.
afterwards. Apparently, he's become a very accomplished documentarian.
Right. He's been nominated for 2 Academy Awards, including one last year for Rosa Parks.
Wow. And what are we doing? We're still
I haven't been
making
nominated for
naughty pictures.
and I haven't been nominated for a home movie at my own house. Here he goes.
Here he
He
goes.
could run.
Yeah.
Yeah, beauty. Yeah, beauty. Come here. Come here, girl.
So I was absolutely fascinated. I was just raised in cities my entire life and really had never been out in country like this. It was just how big the scale was and how there were no fences here. You could also just go in these very dangerous places and climb on these rocks, and there was nobody around to tell you couldn't. Did we have permits or anything on this?
We had general permits, and no one bothered us. I think the only thing we were really bothered by was weekend off-road vehicles, the sound.
And motorcycles, yeah.
And it wasn't big. This is 76, right?
Oh, earlier than that, I think. 74?
So, somewhere in there. And there weren't, hundreds and hundreds of them, but they were so loud that we would just have to shoot and say, okay, we'll get a scratch track here.
Right.
Also, the green that you see, makes everything look friendlier than it was. It is absolutely stark and not friendly at all. And this green on film somehow looks like there's a little bit of life there.
Yeah.
But it's frightening.
Well, there was a lot of rain, as I recall. In fact, we were drenched and cold most of the time.
Beauty!
Go back. Go back.
This is one of the first times I really learned how powerful it is to have something happen off screen, and you just hear the sound, and you can just fill it in, with your mind.
Yep.
But a lot of these compositions like this were just, Eric Saarinen, just, wonderful eye. I think when we shot that shot right there of the jagged hills is where we also knocked off the opening shot, where we just panned across the jagged hills.
Right. But weren't we a lot further back?
Don't remember.
I think he took those from somewhere near the base camp, which was right near where the car stopped.
No, you couldn't do this with an actor today. They'd say, "Give me a stuntman. What are you, crazy?"
Now he should tell him what he saw when he goes back, shouldn't he?
He should, yeah. A lot of the plot points in this picture are that people don't tell vital information because they're embarrassed. We want to talk about that shot? No. Let's just say we bought a dead dog from the county and leave it at that. And that was much after the shoot was done. Look at this running. I mean, this is amazing. He could have broken his ankle at any moment. In fact, there he did.
He may be suing us next week when he hears this commentary. Look, that's beautiful.
And notice how we simulated firelight by having a fire instead of lights.
And it was windy, so I remember these shots where
I kept blowing in her
Susan
face. It just
ran out of the shot.
Bailed right out of the shot.
No. And I think we did that over and over again, and the wind just came from different places.
Yeah.
And
Maypole. This is Mama Bear Carter calling. Do any of you bears have your ears up? Gosh.
Now, do you remember where we shot the interiors? Where we were going to a warehouse someplace?
we shot a lot of this there.
Did we? But I remember being someplace in a warehouse.
Yeah, we moved into a warehouse, but I think a lot of it. Where was the warehouse, in Victorville?
I don't remember. We cut a few ports in the trailer for camera angles and stuff.
Because we blew the trailer up.
Right, we did. But did we have a duplicate? I can't remember.
Big budget duplicate.
Oh, no, see this haggard look on this baby's face? You want to talk about that, Peter?
What happened? I can't
Well, the mother we found out later, kept dosing the baby because it would cry. And she said, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it." And
Is that what happened?
She was giving it like sleeping pills.
Oh no, I can't even remember that. But now that you say it,
yeah. So I think this baby basically was a junkie, but.
Bobby and them in anyway.
Now, as we get to introduce the family, the other family, we should mention Bob Burns' name.
Right.
Who had recently come off of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That's why we got him.
Yeah, he had that. We like that use of bones and everything as decoration. And he showed up, I think, with a whole truckload of like camouflage netting and bones and weird things that we. And
dominoes, and Mary Church, who did all the work.
That was his girlfriend?
Yeah. It was his assistant, girlfriend, wife.
Right.
She became his wife. And Bob was from, is it Austin, Texas?
Austin, Texas, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he's still there.
Yeah.
I still actually got an email from him last week asking how things were going.
Well, if you watch this, hi.
Bob actually went on and directed some films of his own down in Austin.
Yeah. I particularly I remember when I called him up to ask him about doing the job, if he put the hen in the canary cage in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I always found that
That was. I mean, that whole set of the wild farm family's house was a masterpiece of just creepiness. Now, what would you say our lighting package was on this film? About
A large
8
flashlight.
lights, maybe?
Yeah.
And the total crew number, would you say 12, maybe?
Yeah. Very small, very small. I drove a Winnebago, and I drove 5 or 6 people every day to work in a Winnebago.
Yeah. I know all these night scenes we were so stretched because, Eric would turn to me and say, well, you want me to light the entire desert?
With this one light?
Yeah, with this one light. So all the night scenes are very minimally lit. This was kind of an idea that came up on the spot for a creepy sound that would be coming, as it turned out, from a bottle.
Sparse music.
Yeah. Actually, I think we found somebody in a sound studio that had a little machine that was manufactured for making wind sounds back before they had vast libraries. And you could put little plugs in and out of it and make different kind of wind sounds. Now, I've been told for over many years that this was one of the big jumps in people's film experiences at the time.
Oh, yeah, this was a
Papa
good
Gibber coming through the window.
I think we did this twice. We had actually built the window a couple times for this one. We knew we wanted this to work.
Yeah. I remember it being just so bone cold in the set.
Yeah, and small.
Yeah, it was a tiny little set. It's all practical, just the back of that gas station.
Get your stupid neck out of that belt, you jackass.
Now, I think that was our stunt coordinator, Ron Stein, am I right?
Ron Stein.
Who was at that time just in this new organization called Stunts Unlimited, which he later became president of.
Right.
And I think he gave us about 10 seconds in that harness, and that's out, that's it. You get the shot.
Family. Well, the car skidded off the road. We broke an axle. Now they're back at the trailer, and they're all okay.
Like hell they are. Give me that booze. It's something you should know about.
Yeah, well, what is it?
Come on, Beast.
Daddy and Doug back yet?
Not yet. Didn't you find Beauty?
She must have run off.
See, nobody tells the truth in this movie. This is how my family was. This whole thing is based on my family.
Well, that's where the tension comes
tons
from.
of secrets, and nobody would divulge what was going on in their lives, and therefore everybody was half crazed.
Back in 29, this place was spanking new.
Now, this speech I remember taking a long time.
Yeah.
Kind of
This is patched
the memory
together.
factor it came into.
I think it's edited together.
Yeah. But it turned out all right.
Yeah.
But when Martha had this one, something went wrong. This thing she give me, something happened. He was so big. He came out sideways and almost tore poor Martha apart. He weighed 20 pounds and was hairy as a monkey.
Oh, where'd that voice come from? That was probably from Post, right?
He was big as I was. Accidents were happening all the time. Dogs falling in the well. I even found chickens with their heads bit off. Then in August...
This is, I think, my style in those years was like to be just on the verge of almost parody or just the most outrageous comedic line.
Outrageous.
But if you kept it just right, it was sort of believable. And
everything this guy says is believable. Stedman.
Yeah.
And I split his face wide open.
How bad was it?
I thought I'd killed him.
I think I remember you laughing about that line. How bad was it? After he just said you split his face right open.
I figured if he wasn't dead, he couldn't live more than 2 hours out there in that heat. And then it would all be over with.
And you think his ghost is still trying to track you? That was a long time ago.
Long enough for him to steal a whore that nobody had missed. Long enough to raise a passel of wild kids. Long enough for a devil kid to grow up to be a devil man.
Yeah, well, I was always worried the shot didn't. We're supposed to be conveying all these thousands of people they had killed. But I guess that was the big jump, right?
Yep. It was set up because it was really distracting, and this is brutal.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore either. You couldn't even then, but...
No, I mean, we had a lot more of it, and we had to cut it back, way back.
Yeah, I remember even in those days we were worried about doing TV versions and...
Well, we got an X. We got an X.
Yeah.
There was no NC-17.
And this shot had to be cut short, I remember.
Yeah.
I was like, come on. Today it was like, this could be in a Disney movie.
Cheese on this? There's plenty left.
I don't want anything.
What's the matter? Don't you feel well?
I'm just not hungry.
Your
Don't
face
you
still
feel
hot?
well?
Did anybody try the CB while I was gone?
We tried. We tried.
I don't know about Susan playing a teenager in this movie.
Well, we don't have to call her teenage. Did we ever say her name, her age?
No, I think we imply it, but...
She's Susan Lanier's age.
Yeah. And she's very modern. She's still living with her parents. And
Oh, it's a vacation. They're all taking a family vacation.
Right,
Last
exactly.
one.
What was that?
Here's another thing you do in these movies. Why would you ever go outside?
yes, this later would be called, Rule 3 of horror movies that was given in Scream. You never go outside when you're a sound.
You hunker down. You get as much ammunition as possible and get in a small corner.
We'd like to say we were there early in the beginning of this cliche.
What's going on?
Yeah, we probably contributed to Bob's heart problems right here.
I think this is good for him.
This is before people jog, though.
You son of a bitch.
Somebody once wrote me a letter after seeing this picture at a college screening of how a whole fraternity of guys that were basically jocks were like screaming and weeping in the middle of this movie. It was just too intense for them. Getting a lot of use of off-screen. I mean, you don't see this family virtually at all until well into the picture. It's quite amazing.
Daddy, all gone.
I guess this is Papa Jupe's introduction, actually.
Pluto.
Papa Jupe?
Papa Jupe.
Now, this was James Whitworth. And how much acting had he actually done? Sort of on and off, right? He was basically a contractor.
Right.
Wasn't that? Great guy. A real presence.
He was a big guy, athletic, and willing to do whatever.
Yeah.
And he had a big makeup job every day.
Yeah, we had this big split nose to put on. Which would come peeling off and when you get sweaty.
Yeah.
It gets cold out there.
Early prosthetics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I brought you a present. What's the matter with you?
Well, for one thing, Dad's not back yet.
Oh, hell. I wouldn't expect him this early. He had a lot further to go than I did. Besides, it's slow going out there. Where are the dogs?
The beast broke his chain about an hour ago, and he ran off.
Oh, yeah?
And Beauty... Well... Beauty...
It's Doug. Hey!
Oh, the truth almost divulged, but not quite. Very Shakespearean.
He wanted to.
Hello. How you doing?
Did you find anything?
Oh, yeah, lots of stuff. There's, I found a tower.
Now, this speech, a tower, this in my mind was referring to the sort of ground zero from the first atomic detonation. And a lot of people have made that this was a family of mutants because of this little speech, which we never really intended.
The road just stops right there. Just ended right there. Is there any food left? I am so hungry.
Oh, come and get it. Come on.
Okay. Listen, we got
I think the first version of the script, Peter, if my memory serves me correctly, was written early 70s, obviously, and it was set in 1984 during the presidential primaries, and people needed a passport to go from state to state because it was kind of like a 1984 type of society.
Oh, yeah.
And you said, we don't need all this. Just let's get to the desert. So this very elaborate script got pared down to this.
But that came in with the 15-cent budget.
Yeah,
Let's get to the
exactly.
desert.
Which, saved it from being dated as of 1984. Now, this is one of my favorite speeches. If it's where I think it is, where the mother says, "What's the matter? You don't like dog anymore?"
What's the matter? You don't like dog anymore? Maybe dog's too good for a runaway slut like you.
Dog's ghost is talking out there tonight.
I would note that this is a pre-road warrior.
Yes, pre-road warrior. She's got a fancy thing around her head there.
Yes. This is Bob Burns' handiwork.
Handiwork. Yeah. And the animal that's crawling up her back.
Janice said she was a very, very beautiful young woman, and she had her teeth blackened out and all sorts of things to make her look horrible.
Never you mind.
Peter, I think this was your idea, pushing this thing.
Oh, God.
This is where we got really cruel.
Didn't we buy this? We had to get a permit and buy the Joshua tree.
Peter, I don't think we had a permit. I think we sent somebody out and said, get us a Joshua tree and don't let anybody see you doing it. And they came with it in the back of a pickup truck. I remember quite clearly. It was like getting,
I'm sure we were permitted.
It was like getting the corpse of an enemy. Thank you very much.
I'm sure we were completely permitted for this. And I have the documentation at home.
Somewhere. This, being my second picture, I remember there were many, many basics of filmmaking that I didn't know. It was pretty much done on kind of instinct. But I remember in the shot where the father blows up, sort of, and everybody comes out. I was going to shoot a clean shot of the father and then get a shot of the people against the trailer. And he said, "For God's sake, get the people in the same shot with the explosion." I said, "Oh, yeah, all right, that's a good idea."
Oh, God. Look how tiny this is. This is, they are literally in this Winnebago.
Yeah, well, the husband and wife are sleeping in the back of the station wagon. So
but I mean, the shooting, there's no place to move the actors. There's no, and yet it feels, it feels tight. It feels claustrophobic. You're on top of each other. It's just.
Listen,
Which makes it work, actually.
Yeah.
11 o'clock. We'll go out and meet him, okay? Simple.
And they're going to go have sex. We're in the middle of a Wes Craven movie, and they're going to go enjoy
Never have
themselves
sex. That's
somewhere.
another thing Randy said in Scream. And a little flimsy lock. Oh, yeah, like that's going to help you.
Right.
This was also sort of in the middle of the CV craze, you know. In
Right.
fact, Smoking the Bandit came out
Right.
in the beginning of our run and sort of creamed us, kicked us out of a lot of theaters because we were actually breaking a lot of records in theaters, doing fantastically well. And then this gigantic picture came out with CBs, and I think it prevented us from getting our Academy reward.
I'm still waiting.
Baby's thinking, I hope Mother doesn't drug me again.
Yeah, this is a great convention of terror movies that you can just, you're
It
so
is.
horny.
You just
that
never can relax.
you just go. No matter how terrible things are.
More babies are made right after wars, you know? It's like, oh, this is, I think, one of the more successful shots. You introduce Pluto. Now, Michael Berryman, and he's not shy about this, I think he told us 26 birth defects from parents who were both physicians who had taken drugs, prescription drugs, and, you know, in the ways that you're not supposed to. And so he had virtually no hair on his body. He had no fingernails, no sweat glands. In fact, he was always in danger of having heat stroke. We always had to cover him up as soon as we finished the scenes. And that introductory shot, people just freaked out. His skull was kind of misshapen and had no eyebrows. But, you know, one of the nicest and smartest guys you could ever hope to meet.
And game.
Yeah, game for anything.
And he was the poster boy.
Yep.
Do some more. Go ahead.
Wow, look at that watch.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the first digital watches.
I think we shot a couple minutes because not knowing where we were going to be in the film, something like that, you know.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. This is the beginning of a very rough sequence, if I'm not mistaken.
The Mars sequence? That's the one.
Oh,
That's
no,
the
yeah,
rough-
no, that's not quite yet.
Yeah.
This is where he comes and confesses to them, right, that something's going on.
Yeah. This is another convention that you actually would walk out into the dark when you know that he knows the German Shepherd was killed.
Yeah, I know.
Where's he going?
Yeah.
And if you care about him, you're saying, don't go, stay there, protect yourself, protect the family.
Spalding Gray, the great monologist, once said, everything hidden decays. This is like a good example of it, you know, that if you keep a secret, you actually endanger everybody around you. If you keep it out of, you know, being ashamed that you're afraid, which was this character's whole thing.
Come on.
I remember that in the theaters as a good jump.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is Mars.
Yeah, that was Mars.
Stupid.
Too embarrassed to knock.
Jesus.
Things aren't going too well
No.
inside.
Very scary. I'm scared even having made the shot.
Oh.
This, I think, is to lighten the tension a little bit. I think in this bedroom where she was sleeping, there was a poster of Jaws, I think,
which we had permission to use.
Yeah, which we had permission to use, and it was kind of like, this is the sort of wild side of nature,
Oh, man.
What do you want?
A little product placement here.
Paper or plastic?
I remember his knife was made. Bob Burns made it out of one half of a sheep shearing shears. This very strange sort of big pair of scissors.
All right, this better be good.
I need your keys.
Oh, but crying out loud.
I locked myself out.
Couldn't you wait?
Damn, won't you give me the keys, please? Look, some weird is going on around here. Dad's not back yet. You said that you heard heavy breathing on the CB. And now the beast's out there barking like he's hurt.
Oh, Bobby. It's probably Beauty. She always sounds like that when she barks.
Finally comes out.
Beauty's dead.
What?
Beauty's been dead since...
One of the larger ejaculations of snot in the movies, I think.
I had lunch with him 2 weeks ago, and he said, I remember after I did that take, you came over to me, Peter, and said, that was great, real, honest. It looked,
It actually is.
It wasn't a planned thing.
No,
it just
no.
happened. He was afraid, that was not what we wanted.
Right. Okay, now the truth is out among the younger set.
Just hang on. Come on. You stay here.
I will not stay here.
It's interesting, the technology of the time, every line that was recorded afterwards, like, I will not stay here. You can tell.
Ethel, don't go out there. Let me go. Don't go out. Ma! Brenda? Brenda? Keep an eye on the baby, okay?
No.
Here comes Mars.
Here comes Mars. Now, he wanted to be a stuntman, so he jumped off the roof. And Ron Stein, I remember, because later in the film he does a big fall down a hill. And Ron Stein, who was playing the part of the other character, came down on him with a fake rock and hit him so hard he almost broke his shoulder because he wanted to make him suffer for doing a stunt that should have been done by a stuntman.
I don't know that story.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. This is something.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
No yucca tree was harmed in making this movie.
No. But what about the man? He was burned alive.
Well, okay, that too. Here's Lance eating raw meat.
Hungry.
This is one of the great sequences, all one take.
Definitely not kosher. He had the milk and the meat.
We only had one bird. No, this was a was a fake bird. This isn't fake, but when he bites it, actually, there's a cut. Or we have the fake bird in the bottom of the cage, I think. And I was pissed off because he hid the fake bird in his hand, but...
Just in case you didn't think they were cruel enough.
Very scary. Obviously, he wore sort of fake teeth, which makes him speak very oddly throughout the picture.
And he sounds like he comes from Baltimore.
That's where Michael hit his head on the camera and he got, like, really furious. He had a bald head.
And Lance threw him around, too.
Yeah.
You wait till you get to be a man.
So this take coming, we just said, okay, Michael, take the hatchet and destroy everything. I remember Eric, was just like, it's dangerous in here. This is a real axe.
And did he hurt his hands doing this, too?
I don't know. I know he hit his head on the camera. That's what kind of why he was so mad, really. I said, just take it out on the trailer. There's the half of a sheep's hair.
Baby's fat. You fat. Fat and juicy.
And years later, when I worked with Eddie Murphy, the first time I met him, that's the first thing he said to me. Baby fat. He was a big fan of this movie.
Oh, God, things are getting rough here.
Yeah.
That's not...
I mean, this picture has a lot of power. It's all about family. It's all about kind of competition between the various generations, not wanting to be embarrassed in front of them, not wanting to expose them to something you think you're protecting them from. Competition between father and brother and two brothers. It was all about being a man, about the scary father. I mean, there are a lot of very heavy set of subjects in here that are woven into the story that really make it have a lot of impact.
It's not my Bob. It's not my Bob.
Yeah.
That
actually was said by my mother when she got the news of my father's death. Not to be heavy, but a lot of this movie dialogue and stuff was just out of my, memories of my family and the way they interacted. And
I'm gonna get those bastards.
Bobby.
I will.
You can accept more stuff between a family as reality because anything can happen between a family, and this family dynamic is really well drawn.
Yeah, and it has much more resonance, I think, because it's our earliest experiences of all these power plays and important things is when we're little children.
And he was a heavy, domineering father.
Papa Jupe?
No, that's another one. Yeah, my God.
Get what we came for and get out.
Here it comes.
This is a tough one.
Yeah, this is the one.
My mother grabbing a broom. At that moment when Virginia is shot, I don't know if you remember this, but we put a squib on her, and she was very nervous about it. I don't think she'd ever had one on her. We assured her it was all right, and the gun went off and the squib went off, and she did that incredible reaction, and then it turned out she was hurt. And the squib plate had pinched her body, a certain part of her body, against her chest, and we had to send her to the hospital that night.
Yeah.
But this sequence is just so intense.
This sequence got edited down and edited down and edited down for us to get an R.
Yeah. And part of it is just her screaming. It was just, she just went balls out there, excuse the expression, but...
I remember in the editing room.
I come back for you later, girlie.
From listening to her scream and scream and scream. It didn't leave me for years, and when I saw it again a couple of weeks ago, it came right back to me the same way. The hysteria.
Yeah, no, she just went. It's amazing. It's an amazing performance, Everybody really went, all out in this picture. It's amazing because we were nobody, out in the middle of the desert making this stupid little film, and man, everybody just put everything they had into it.
Well, you were about to become Wes Craven.
Well, this is before I was Wes Craven.
God Almighty. No music, just the shots and the acting.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you just don't do this in a movie. You don't kill young mothers. You don't have babies stolen. You don't, kill two mothers. It just, the whole thing was to not do anything conventional. I remember even when Bobby has the gun and he's shooting at Mars running away, that, in any movie you would hit the guy.
Yeah.
But the fact is, with a pistol like that, you can't hit the broadside of a barn usually.
Yeah.
And it just makes you feel like everything's so ineffective against these guys.
And Susan Lanier's stabbing of him was fabulous. I mean, it was just everyone's hitting and stabbing and as hard as they can.
Yeah. And this next shot of Martin out in the brush, screaming, "Who are you? What do you want?" To me, it was like man calling to God. But I've seen this shot in 2 or 3 other movies afterwards. In fact, I saw it just recently. I can't remember what movie it was in, but a character doing something like this.
Damn you! Give me back my baby!
In the storyboards, this shot drew all the way back until you could see the planet Earth in the middle of space. Yeah. I think we weren't able to do that shot, but
we have one light on him somewhere in the middle of the...
So as far as our zoom would take us.
Yeah. I think we shot that too.
Yeah, 500 millimeter lens. Now this baby that they tossed back and forth we had a stuffed baby, and I had it stuffed with sand so it would have the right weight. But people that saw the movie, after we made the scene you just saw, assumed we must have been throwing the baby back and forth too. And somebody once said to me, at this point, I decided if they killed the baby, I was going to go kill them.
You mean the filmmakers or the bad
filmmakers,
guys?
No. But everybody was convinced that we were going to kill the baby next.
We got the goods in how, Mercury? Is that a baby? You be a good dog.
Now that's a real baby, but...
Mama, you be so happy.
And that's your voice, Peter.
Happy? Maybe I make a joke like last time and eat the toes. You think everybody laughed? We always laugh at you, Mercury. Coming through. Okay, Pluto.
I did that stunt myself. This was before they had bags on the ground. We did it into cardboard boxes, and I went about 40 feet.
That's not true. This is the stuff, baby. Now in Hills 2, we had this dog do a flashback, which I think is the only flashback of a dog in American cinema.
He has a dream.
Yeah, he has a
dog dream.
I heard you tried to run away.
No, Papa, no.
I heard you messing with Grandpa Fred. I think Grandpa Fred good.
We're an hour into the movie, and first time we really hear him.
That's true.
People good.
Bobby.
The rules that we kind of set for ourselves here was, you take the civilized family into obvious wilderness, and then you take all the elements of their little civilization capsule that they're in, the CB and the pistols and the house and the wives and everything. You just, one by one, you take it all away from them. And essentially you end up with just this forlorn husband and the brother and sister as the kind of Adam and Eve of this new world. When we're doing this, I was thinking kind of the whole third world rage against, the United States and white Western society. I mean, not to get too heavy about it, but his whole speech that he later gives to the father's head was basically written from that perspective. I'll watch your cars rust out and your seeds blow to the wind, and there's the jaws. But it was it was almost like anticipation of the 9/11 rage of other people against us, that we can't imagine that they would be as wild and as angry and as vicious as they are.
I told you I had something.
You heard what?
I'll go find him.
Of course, all the family is named after, all the guys are named after the planets, with Jupiter being the largest planet in our solar system.
Did you kill them all like I told you to? Did you kill them all like I said?
You can see, even within that family, you have the fear factor.
Yeah.
Both sons just terrified of the father.
Daddy back here?
Virginia worried about the trailer being messy. She's beautiful, isn't she?
Yeah.
Bed yet?
Yeah, Brenda's right here. And, Bobby's in the kitchen.
Drinking coke, I bet. Win, sleep?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'll get you anything.
Another blanket, if you have one. Chilly.
Just keep you warm. Just keep you nice and warm.
It's very emotional.
Yeah, it really is. It's interesting that she's relating to her son-in-law more than to her own children.
Well, the children can't even get
They can't
over
deal
there.
with it. Yeah, they cannot deal with it.
Oh, Christ, the battery must be dead.
Bobby, I'm scared.
I think the bastard took the lantern.
Coming back for me. Don't let him get me, Bobby.
Yeah, what do you?
Oh, God.
You're outside.
There's just the basic rule of not shooting all of your bullets until you see the guy.
Yeah.
Buckley? Buckley, you all right? Buckley, where are you?
I know you watched this recently to get ready for this. I have not watched it in years and years. I'm really struck by how strong it is. It's like pretty damn good
I couldn't stop watching it.
work, you know.
It's very sparse, and it's powerful, even though it's sparse.
Yeah, probably because it is, you know.
Yeah.
Hold on, Pluto. I'll get him.
The beast.
What the budget on this, Peter, was what?
The original
over
budget was
300?
$250,000 before we did the pickups.
The pickups were when we came back to blow up the trailer better than we did the first time.
Right, and the little stuff that we did, and I guess to get a little more money for music, and I think the whole thing went to 300, including blowing it up.
Yeah, this was shot in 16 millimeter.
Get off of me. Get off. Where have you been? Huh? Where have you been?
You bring this?
This is Jupiter.
Boy.
What'd you find? Mercury dead, Papa. He's at the
And we
bottom.
had to keep recutting to get an R.
Yeah, even way back then, censorship was a big problem.
And the finishing process, when you have to recut after you've mixed tracks on a low-budget picture, that's really difficult.
It's just hell, yeah. You've spent most of your money. You're just basically scraping by to finish, and then...
Now you're editing music instead of having it scored for the actual finished film.
Yeah. I've often said when in interviews, it's the most vulnerable part of making a film when you're being just finishing and you're being subjected to censorship, and they demand change after change. It just kills you.
This scene was killed by the censors.
Stick your fingers in my pie? That was a bad mistake.
Yeah, there was a shot where he's gesturing, sticking Bob's own fingers in his face, right, holding his arm.
He's eating his forearm while he's speaking.
I think we had a leg of lamb stuck in there, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm gonna watch your goddamn car rush down. Yes, I will.
Right, Papa, tell him.
I'll see the wind blow your dried up seeds away. I'll eat the heart of your stinking memory. I'll eat the brains of your kids' kids. I'm in. Yeah! Hi.
And I think that's the ultimate white man's terror, right? Is just the outsiders getting in. And
this scene really, I remembered it so differently with him thrusting that Bob's arm into his face and his finger into his eye, and
well, I know
there's the one bite that we have, but you don't see that arm.
I think we were never allowed to show the arm as severed.
You're gonna come looking for her. You can take care of him then.
I'll rip his lungs out.
We like that phrase. I think James's nose was falling off in that shot, wasn't it? It was starting to come loose.
It's getting light out. Let's get started.
I think this was shot from the near where the.
I think you're right. Yeah.
We were actually in this environment for the whole show.
You know, I've never gone back after the Mojave, but I remember just loving it. All the rocks were, I think Eric Saarinen said, oh yeah, this is decomposing granite. It was like the most abrasive stuff you can imagine, so you can really run on it well, but all your clothing got shredded, shoes, everything, elbows.
I took Dexter camping out near this.
Your son, yeah? Yeah. I love the shot of these two running.
Bob, you read me?
I love the tie-in of the distance and the...
Bobby.
Yeah, well, see, I remember what you told me. Put people in the same shot. I remember on this movie you came up to me once and said, do you know the difference between a master and coverage? And I didn't. I didn't, I never went to film school, so it's like we're just kind of making it up as we went along.
Oh, God, what a performance. You feel like she's absolutely wrecked.
This is a breaker 19er for KUY 9532. Does anybody read this? We need police help. Mayday. Look, Brendan, will you keep it down? Oh, no.
It's pretty quiet.
Think they'll land for us?
Wouldn't be surprised.
Hello, Police Air Force. This is KUY 9532 calling Mayday. Mayday.
Hello, KUI. This is Air Force Rescue. We have you loud and clear. What's up?
Hello, listen.
It's kind of a Rosemary's Baby nightmare of you think your help is coming and they're part of the problem.
Okay, now hold on. What are your defensive capabilities at this time?
One gun.
He's Michael Berryman's voice, of course.
We don't have any hunting rifles or anything. You've got to help us. We're sitting ducks.
Stand by.
Give the whole thing away.
Yep.
We are recommending that until we can get to you, you stand on your heads.
Stand on our heads. That's code.
Just stand on your heads with your thumbs up.
Oh, Bobby.
What are your defensive capabilities at this time? They're just sitting ducks. We're going through that wash. They'll never see us coming in.
I remember that wash.
Yeah.
That was a hot day.
Yeah, we were down on that wash a long time for the big fight between the dog and Pluto.
Dog did very well in that fight.
Right. We see some signs. You might have a visitor snooping around. You keep your eyes open. We're almost there.
I love these walkie-talkies. They're the size of Buicks. It's amazing. They found them out in the desert and their batteries still worked.
For Christ's sake, kid, put your ears on. Damn it. Come here, fella. Come here. Listen.
No, I don't want to be in the
Take
shot.
your turn up at that, okay? So you go and get him.
This is a smart dog.
Well, that's just put the trainer over the ridge and have him call the dog.
No, I mean that he's going to take that
wasn't.
back.
Yeah.
Listen a little. Now this is early MacGyver. This is
this is early MacGyver.
This is Wes Craven doing his thing.
Gotta get out of this ourselves.
I remember reading this and thinking, this is absolutely wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. You can't beat this.
Yeah, taking the tire off and the audience doesn't know what the hell they're doing.
And I can't remember if you knew when you were going to get there in the script, if that was happening, or you said, these are the elements that I have and I'm going to put it together now.
Can't remember.
How strong is this anyway?
Plenty. Why?
Come on, I got an idea.
Plenty, why? You can hear it all. So she has this idea. She's still wearing big...
I was mad at them. They ran out of sight there. Instead, they're supposed to ride up straight away from camera. There's a dog waiting for them back there. A very smart dog.
And didn't we have trouble with footsteps in here? We didn't like them, or we did like them?
Yeah, we were going to brush them all out because the cruise tracks were all over the place. After a while, we said, well, they just use this in their daily lives. So.
Right.
I like this shot.
Yeah. What?
Now, this fight between Pluto and the dog, we shot there, but we also, then we had a fake dog head made, I think, and for attacking at the throat, because we were too stupid to know that you can't have a dog attack somebody's throat.
This was our first animal.
I think that was the trainer's foot.
Yeah.
There was a lot of use of bacon there. But this dog really...
it was attack trained.
Attacked. I think there was some use of a stuntman here. And this is Wes Hot Tracks. I also cut this picture, so I think I had every sound effect in the world in here. At the time, I was fascinated by the vulnerable points of the human body. So the Achilles tendon was the
this is a
was
beauty.
the star of this one.
This one's a beauty.
Is the shot in? Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
God.
Oh, does that hurt? You just squeeze together when you see that.
Yeah. Couldn't do that today. Kill the baby. Okay, the clock is running.
Ruby? What do you want?
And of course, Lance has been cut in his
femoral
artery, which is like I had been reading training manuals for Green Berets, and it's like if you cut somebody there, they bleed to death in like 1 minute.
He's just limping.
Don't do it, time away. I don't want to see it.
Of course, now we've established this pig in the earlier scene.
The baby turns into a pig.
Yeah, it's one of the early uses of magic before Harry Potter.
Oh, she got hit on the head. Look at this place.
Katie!
If we were to shoot here in 2003, we would have a team of geologists finding what rock you could stand on
without it possibly tumbling down and killing everybody.
Right. This was
all this
like,
stuff was loose. Yeah.
This is just go for it.
Now here's Janice's running scene from the parking lot.
She could run. This guy could run too.
Yeah, but we undercranked that one.
Yeah.
Well, this is one of my favorite outrageous moments.
Yeah.
Using your mother as bait. I think Virginia was wearing a wig in the shot, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe...
Now, I think everything's brown in the background. Everything that used to be green here.
Yeah.
The creosote trees were turning and... Because we shot this at the end, right?
Right. I think Virginia just blinked there. Oh, this is his famous speech to the dog, right?
Yeah. And he's still going forward. Piss liquor speech.
Yeah.
Devil dog. You son of a bitch! You piece of shit! I killed you, bitch! I'll kill you! At least your heart tastes liquor. Together! I'll strangle you with your own guts.
This was a tough one. I didn't know whether it would work or not. Fake dog head.
Yeah.
Real dog. Pet dog. Dog in Malibu. We went back and shot this, I think, 2 or 3 times.
Oh,
that was the mean dog.
Yeah, the barking dog. That's the head.
Fake dog head. Couldn't show that very long.
Same.
Fake dog head. Real hand.
Real hand, which is the scariest of them all.
I remember our stuntman telling us this was like one of the most dangerous things he'd ever done, being dragged through the brush as fast as we dragged him.
And if I recall, we didn't like the speed and made him do it a few times.
Yeah, several times, and he was telling us we're going to kill him, I think. This is one of my favorite shots of Jupiter coming up, and he kind of sniffs and looks at the mother. Yeah, he was a good physical actor, too, you know?
Yeah.
That, I think, was a stunt woman with the wig.
Yeah, that's right.
Fire it up.
This is a great moment. This is... There's no gas.
Of course. Now you reveal the gag. Sort of. That was a hard fall. I remember he knocked the wind out of him. And he has his hand on his quick release in case but then he couldn't reach it.
Oh, we kept dragging this guy.
Yeah. He was not a happy camper. Uh-oh, now you've pissed him off.
Here comes Susan. He's alive.
He's loose. I love that he fell down. It's great.
They trip. Everyone's tripping.
Hold your nose. This is also from the Ranger's Manual. Kids, don't do this at home.
I was always afraid you couldn't hear that sound, remember?
Oh, yeah, we like cranked it up so high.
Cranked it and cranked it.
This is a good sniffing shot here. I remember there was a discussion about whether we could put them to the shot without killing them. We didn't know exactly how much of a blow-up this would be.
Right. That's right. They couldn't tell us.
You can see them starting to duck. Now, we went back and shot this, right? We did
the first one? The second
or maybe
part?
it was the aftermath. That was...
Yeah, the aftermath. I think that's the first time.
Yeah, I think you're right. But we did go back there and shoot more material.
Yeah.
I think it was the jump. I think maybe the aftermath.
Maybe some of this.
Yeah.
Kill him. This was written as the last scene in the movie. I mean, they all came together, actually. Martin had already done his thing.
Oh, just happened to find an axe there.
Good thing. Oh.
There's some great little freeze frames on this.
This got edited down, too, to get an R.
This is, I think, one of the worst appearances of his nose. Instead of turning gray, it's got back to the right color in that shot.
It's got a lot of dust.
You can see we're losing the light.
Yeah.
Everybody had to be in good shape for this movie.
I remember I was afraid of this scene because Lance was so much bigger and stronger.
Yeah.
And I was
Here's where Ron Stein tries to break his shoulder. Oh, that's actually the actor doing that.
But this is the great equalizer. After he hits him with this,
right?
You believe that the artery's cut. He's just got whacked on the head with a rock. How is he still coming? You believe this smaller man can fight him.
Yeah. It was very much sort of
boom. Oh,
Viet Cong time. It was
God,
during the Vietnamese Wars. It was like fighting the bigger force by just hitting and running.
How does he take that shot to the head? That would have, that would have finished him off.
I remember the great line here. He says, "This guy just doesn't quit." I remember being in an audience and just hearing him laugh like, "You're not kidding."
And
now, you remember this?
The snake got away. The snake was brought out cold.
Yeah, we were down in this little narrow defile, this little wedge between rocks, and the trainer brought it in a box.
First, they keep them cold overnight so they don't move, but it was a hot day.
Yeah, and we were actually back in there, and we let the snake out, and it just like shot out of the box and up the canyon wall, and then fell right amongst all of us. This Mojave Green, which is the most poisonous form of rattlesnake there is.
It was over 6 feet long and fat.
It would have killed us. And I remember asking a guy, "This has been milked, right?" Which means you take the poison. He said, "Oh, no, he's ready to go." So we all got the hell out of there after they caught it and shot it up against the cliff face.
Mars! Take me!
Get out of here!
Take me!
You ain't worth taking, Ruthie.
Leave him alone! Take me!
This is about the most conventional score we have in the movie, I think.
Mm-hmm.
This was a very tough fight, and this is the actors doing all their own stunts.
Yeah, this was very tough, this fight. This fight went on for a long time, shooting-wise.
Yeah.
I remember that you wanted more and more and more action here, and you just kept going at it and going at it. I thought these guys were going to be dead.
Yeah, they were. And Lance was not. He was not being gentle with this poor, actor who was not used to this physicality.
Oh, and that's a real knife.
Yep.
You bastard! You got 10 seconds to live.
The original script and the original cut. This was the next to the last scene, or the third to the last scene, and then the Susan Lanier and Bobby Houston and the mother would kill Jupe last, and then he comes down from the mountain with the baby, and they all stand together around the mother.
Really?
That's what we shot too.
Wow.
And we kept cutting back from that because we were drained after all these three things. Actually drained, and it was like enough already.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the ending was hopeful that here's the family that's alive and they're going to go on, and they've killed the bad guys.
Right. And we decided we're not going to be so nice.
No.
Here's the civilized person revolting the wild person.
Yeah.
I remember they made us cut this, the amount of stabs, but we somehow snuck them back in.
Well, he had it coming.
Yeah, he did.
The baby, the mother. I mean, this guy just killed everybody.
Well, that's The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm delighted that this is being re-released and released in DVD. DVDs in general, you can put so much more materials. I think we're going to put, some old storyboards and photographs from the shoots, and there's a whole generation that doesn't even know about this film, and so it's very exciting that it can be put out there in a way that's more permanent than most other forms of putting a film out, and that a new generation can kind of see this.
We had negative damage when we made the picture. The DVD process allows you to clean it up. It's going to give it a fresh look, and I'm glad it's going out that way. So I want to thank you guys for renting, buying, or however you acquired this, and I want to thank Anchor Bay for putting it out for us.
Yeah, I want to second that. Anchor Bay has been great, and then really you can see the devotion to the film that they have. They really respect it, and it's nice after all these years to have your work, honored in this way, that somebody's going to go out of their way to preserve it one more step. And I'll say to Peter, we've remained friends all these years, and this was one of my great filmmaking experiences. It was a great time, and I look back at it with a lot of pride, because it's our work. It's nobody else's, but it's just our work up there on the screen.